Kirby, is it your birthday? Booger, is it Sissy's birthday? Did you guys want to have a treat? Do you want to try this treat? Oh my heck, you came back. Well, today is my Kirby girl's 5th birthday, which means she's 5 today. And we're going to bake some puppy treat using some sourdough starter. So let's just jump into it. What you're going to need is about a half a cup of pumpkin puree, about a cup of your sourdough starter. My dogs are sad because they wanted to go outside, but but they can't because it's kind of a torrential downpour out there. You're going to need 2 eggs, which I have 2 straight from the chicken right here. Okay, so after the 2 eggs, you need about a 1/4 cup of peanut butter. Of course, when you're making dog treats, you always want to use the best ingredients, right? You don't want to use some nasty cheap peanut butter. If you're going to add peanut butter, you would want to use something good, you know, like a natural peanut butter, something like that. Same with your pumpkin. It's always better to use like pumpkin that you grew your pumpkins yourself and you saved the puree and you canned it and power, but mine came out of a can. It's Stokely's brand. I don't have any pumpkin puree this year. Well, I'm gonna grow pumpkins, I think. My garden's gonna be weird and late. It just is what it is. Anyway, ramble. Don't worry, I'll put the full recipe in the description. Next, we need about 2 tablespoons of bacon drippings. So, once all those ingredients are in your bowl, I'm just going to combine them. Because I'll show you what kind of consistency we're looking for here in a minute. So right now with our wet ingredients, basically, it's soupy, it smells delicious. And the thing about these is, you could eat them. Now we're going to take about a cup of oats. And I may change my mind here on ratios a little bit once I get to seeing how this looks. I like to use quite a bit of oats in my dog treats, but I have this self-rising flour I want to get rid of that I had bought, when nobody could buy any flour and all you could ever find was self-rising and it's junk. I don't typically like to put wheat flour in dog treats because a lot of dogs have grain allergies. Our dogs eat grain-free. We don't actually give them a lot of treats anyway. I am going to put a whole nother cup of oats in here, so just 1 minute. Anyway, as I was saying, our dogs eat grain-free. I wish we could afford to feed them a raw diet, but we just can't. It's expensive. Okay, so this is the consistency with 2 cups of oats in it. I have to add some flour. Like I said, we're going to get rid of this self-rising flour. I'm not too worried about it with my dogs. They don't have too bad of, well, my husky, it's her birthday, she has no sensitivity to grain. My treeing walker coonhound, however, does, but just a few treats every once in a great while is not going to affect him. So we'll use this. Normally I would use brown rice flour or oat flour because I'm not really certain what coconut or almond flour, if dogs can have that. I haven't done that much research, but I don't have any of those things, and I do have this, and I do need to get rid of it. And it is Kirby's birthday, huh, baby? So let's start with 1 cup of this. Oop, a little more than a cup. You want the mixture to be thick. You want it to be kind of like cookie dough because we are going to take a cute little cookie cutter, which I didn't dig out yet, and cut these out. Just cut them out like dog bones. If you don't have a cookie cutter, who cares? You can take a glass and just make round cookies. You can just roll this dough out and just cut it into little shapes with a knife. The dog doesn't care, I promise, because all they're going to care about is eating the delicious treat. Okay, it's not quite thick enough. I think we're going to put another half a cup of this flour in here. Oh yeah, that other half a cup's gonna make this about perfect because we're gonna dump it out on the surface here in a second and roll it out. Or I probably won't even take a rolling pin and roll it out. I'll probably just press it because these are dog treats we're talking about. I'm not entering this in the county fair. And get my cookie cutters down, which I'll show you. They're super cute. My sister got them for me at Hobby Lobby about 50,000 years ago. No, but at least probably 12 years ago. A long time ago. We like to make dog treats. So this is what it looks like now with the 2 cups of oats and the 1.5-cup-ish of flour. Well, there'll be a little more flour incorporated because we're going to flour our surface. This is why I keep a towel on my shoulder like a grandma. Okay, so I've got the cookie cutters out and I'll show you. They're just, I hope you can see that. Cute little dog bones. I have a tiny one and a big one. I like to make a bunch with the big bone and some with the little bone because, you know, you might just want to have like a little training treat, or they're fun sizes. My dude's mom has a tiny, tiny little dog. I'll give her some of these. So something I didn't tell you that's important for you to know is that the oven is preheated at 325 degrees. So of course I let that preheat while I'm making this so that we can just pop the dog cookies in the oven. The oats that I used are instant oats today. I normally use steel cut oats or rolled oats. I like big whole oats in everything. I had that canister of oats that was also given to me when you couldn't buy any groceries. And now it's time to work through these things, and I'm not a big fan of the texture of that, but I know that my dogs don't care. So that's why they get to have it in their treat. So Kirby, my birthday girl, I'm just gonna take some flour and spread it on the surface here. She was born to my boyfriend's brother and his wife. They have this beautiful puppy. She's so cute. She's not a puppy. She's the dog's mom. So she, I think, is probably about 6. I think she was 1.5 years old when Kirby was born. But she's like a mix, a husky, a lot husky, but there's a little bit of German Shepherd and Lab in her, you can tell. So Kirby's not 100% husky, but she's 100% perfect, so know that. They bred her to a full-blooded husky, and they had, I think, 8 pups. And one passed away right away, or maybe it was stillborn. This was right before I moved back home and was real serious with my boyfriend, and you know. So I didn't even know these people then. So I'm not 100% certain on the details, but I can tell you this. There was one that was, I want to say that one was stillborn. If you can see, this is kind of fluffy, so I just kind of took half of it away so I can press it out and cut out these cookies. Sorry. So anyway, there was the one that was stillborn, the one that we have. They kept 2. A very good friend of all of ours kept 2. A friend that worked with them, who now lives in another town, kept 1. And that one, I guess, is like, he travels around with his owner because she's like a small circuit singer and she travels all over the place, and that dog has like the best dog life. And then another, so there was 8 because another friend of ours took the other one. So all the pups get to see each other, except for, of course, the one that passed away and the one that's world famous traveler. And we all like to kind of celebrate their birthday or do something. It is a Monday. I don't know, with all of us having big kid jobs, if we're going to actually do anything this year. Like, serious for the dogs. There's been years where we've like made a big deal out of it. I'm going to get this spatula out just so I can loosen this up from my surface so that I'm not tearing cookies. Anyway, but I'm going to give everybody a couple cookies. That's why I'm making so much. So I told you that story to tell you this story. Whatever. Okay, so I've got half my dough pressed out. And I'm just going to take my cookie cutter and work around just like you would do with any other cookie dough or biscuit. I guess you could call these biscuits. I like to call them cookies because it sounds fancier. Oh, and I always like to give my brother's dog some treats when I make treats. Okay, so I have a pre-greased cookie sheet that I just sprayed with some coconut oil pan spray, which I probably put away already, and my hands are gross. I'm not going to take it in the pantry. Oh, we're going to load up all these cookies, and we're going to press out some more dough, and we're going to just get our pans filled up, and then I'll show you what they look like before they go in the oven, and I'll show you what they look like when they come out. And so like I said, the oven's preheated at 325 degrees, and we'll cook them for about 20 minutes. That way they'll have like a nice, they'll be sort of hard, but not hard like a milk bone. They'll have a little softness to them. I always tell everybody when I make cookies, dog treat cookies, that if you're not going to give them all to your dogs in the next day, put them in something and keep them in the fridge because they will mold. So there are a few things that act as a preservative in this because we're using this self-rising flour, but there's not actually any preservatives in it. It's not enough that I would be comfortable saying, go ahead and set it on your counter for a month and give your dogs a treat every once in a while. And in fact, when I make dog treats, a lot of the times I'll take a jar like this and I'll just fill it up and put it in the freezer because my dogs, they even like them frozen. When I make dog treats, a lot of the times I use the same basic ingredients, but like I might use leftover gravy because I don't put a lot of salt in my food, or I might use shredded beef that we maybe had for an event at the house or something that got kind of pushed to the back of the fridge and was just a little too far gone, you know, needed to get used up, something like that. So I always throw random stuff in there. So they're hardly ever the same. They're always the same kind of basic idea. So you need something to bind it together. You need something to make it sticky, something to make it appetizing to the dog. So there's a lot of that's binder, right? Like eggs are binder. Pumpkin has a lot of nutritional value, good for dogs. Peanut butter, a flavoring agent, it's a binder. The bacon grease, and then you need the stuff to kind of bring it together. So the oats I want in there to have an appropriate amount of fiber. Sorry, my towel's getting fresh with me. Flour is just another agent to hold it together with. And there's been times where I've gotten away with not putting any kind of flour in there, just depending on what I use for my other ingredients. So I'm done rambling. I'm going to finish this up. I will show you what this all looks like here when I've got them all pressed out, and then we'll pop them in the oven. I'll show you what they look like when they're done, and we'll have a puppy taste test. Okay, here they are ready to go in the oven. These are the big ones. Here's all the little ones, and I just ended up doing, if you can see, a pan of each because why not? And then with the extra dough I had, I was just over cutting out cookies, so I just made 2 big sugar cookie looking cookies for the 2 today. Don't judge my pans. They're all cheapies I found at garage sales or the dollar store, but that's what they look like before they go in the oven. And I've never used anything with a leavening agent in it to make dog treats before, so that's why they're spaced out as far apart as they are. Otherwise, I would have probably packed every square inch of each of these pans with treats because that's how I normally do it. But with the sourdough being in there and with the self-rising flour, I know they'll probably raise a little bit. So we'll just see what happens. I'm going to pop them in the oven for about 20 minutes and then we'll come back and take a look. Okay, so they're out of the oven now. You guys should have been here to smell how amazing it smelled. But look, it did. Look at that. I should have taken an angle this way of them before, but you can absolutely see how much they raised. They didn't spread out, which is awesome. I mean, they might have just slightly, but they got nice and puffy. It almost makes me want to eat it. Like if I didn't know this was dog treat stuff and bacon, pumpkin, peanut butter probably doesn't taste good. I'd be like, yeah, give me some of that.
Yeah, give me some of that.
So I'm gonna let these cool off a little bit. We'll save these for tonight to have a birthday party for Kirby tonight. Last year I made them puppy ice cream because it was so stinking hot, but it's cold and rainy here this year, so they get cookies. But when they cool down, I'll give the dogs each one of these and you can see how much they love them. Oh, okay, Kirby, sit. Kirby, sit. Hey, focus. Good girl. No, Ruger. Look, you got one. Ruger. Ruger, sit. No. No, wait. No, wait. Here you go. Good boy. Good boy. Oh. Happy birthday.